Hello everyone, this is Tracy Nison with a special market update for the week ending Friday, May 26th. In this update we are going to talk about the S&P 500, gold, the dollar versus the Japanese yen, and the euro versus the US dollar. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the S&P first. Not really much went on in the equity market today. I think a lot of people started their long holiday weekend a bit early. The S&P was essentially flat after breaking out to the upside to new record highs on Thursday. And with that breakout, what I've been watching in the S&P 500 is a box range that has been intact for quite some time now, essentially since the market peaked back in the beginning of March. Now, based on this box range, which has been intact since that time, I can derive an upside target based on the height of this range, which takes us up to about 2480. And with this week's breakout, that is my next upside target for the S&P 500. I think the market is still looking quite healthy. Every time we get a dip to the downside, like we did during, I believe it was May 17th session, buyers step right back in, and that's a very healthy sign. If we do get a pullback over the near term, we have a minor rising window that was formed as a result of Thursday's gap higher to the upside, and then we have that former area of resistance right around the 2400 area. I'd look for that level to reverse rolls and provide support, demonstrating the change of polarity principle. If that area can hold, the broader bias in the S&P will remain firmly bullish, and I think our next stopping point is going to be that 2480 area. If we see a quick drop back below 2400, we could see a move back down to around the midpoint of that box range, but I don't think we see that take place. The S&P is looking quite bullish. Again, overall, the target is going to be up at 2480. Initial support right around former resistance, which is just below that rising window formed as a result of Thursday's gap to the upside. And as long as that 2400 area holds, broader bias again remains bullish. Now let's take a look at gold. Gold had a nice run to the upside today, even though the dollar was a bit higher. Gold has managed to break above resistance at a high established in last week's trading, as well as the 1265 area, which essentially did represent that high, and it also represented the 61.8% retracement of that decline from the April high. Typically, when you see a break above a 61.8% retracement, the probabilities of a complete retracement do increase. So I am bullish gold. I think gold, silver are both moving higher. The market is looking quite healthy with today's upside breakout. If we do see a pullback, I'd like to see that 1265 area reverse rolls provide support, but that is very close to the market. I think as long as this low that was formed on Wednesday, right around the 1243 area, as long as that level holds, I'm still going to be short-term bullish on gold. We could see a pullback over the near term. The market is very overbought. I'm looking at the June contract, so we could see some near-term consolidation. But overall, I think gold is moving higher, and we have the potential for a move up within reach of that 1300 level, which was tested with that April high. Now, as far as some currencies are concerned, I've been watching the dollar versus the yen, and it looks like this currency pair has made a bear flag. We had a big move to the downside after peaking earlier in May, and now we've had a rather narrow counter-trend move, and this is taking on the look of a bear flag formation. And with today's move to the downside, it looks like the dollar-yen is breaking below that flag formation. Now, what that means is what you can do to derive a downside target, and these patterns tend to be very reliable. Flags, bull flags, bear flags are some of my favorite patterns. What you can do is measure the distance from this decline, which started just above the 114 area and found support right around 110.25. What I did was measure that distance and project that from the breakdown point, and that gives me a downside target of around the 107 handle. Now, we do have some additional areas of support. Certainly above 107, we have that 110.25 area, which represents the May low, and then we have a small rising window that was formed back in April. The lower edge of that rising window, just above the 109 area, area. And then we have key support down at the April lows, which come in just above 108. But overall, I think the dollar yen is going lower with today's breakdown. Again, Monday could be a very quiet session as the US is on holiday and there is no major data coming out, but I do think dollar yen is going lower. And finally, just the opposite has taken place in the euro versus the dollar. We had a big move to the upside and then a counter trend move, and this looks like it represents a bull flag. Now, based on the height of this pattern and projecting that if we do get a breakout, a sustained move outside of this bull flag, the upside target I derived is right about 1.1665. That's going to be my next upside target. Again, the euro has been looking very healthy. We have seen some pullbacks over the near term, essentially been consolidating recently, but no major support levels have been broken. I would remain firmly bullish the euro versus the dollar as long as this former high of a bearish engulfing pattern that was formed back on May 8th remains intact, and that's right around just below the 1.105 area. As long as that former resistance remains intact as support, I think the euro is going higher, and at this point I don't think we see a pullback to that level. I think we see strength over the near term and a breakout from this bull flag formation. Again, these tend to be very reliable patterns, so be watching the euro versus the US dollar for a potential upside breakout and a move to that upside target. Now, before I end, I just want to point out the fact that we are conducting a Memorial Day sale. Get exclusive savings on these top candlestick training programs and tools, and we're offering specials on candlestick education, trading software, and our candlecharts.com community. For all the details, visit the link below, candlecharts.com/special/memorial-day-sale, and that will take you to all the details for these special savings. Thank you very much for listening and have a wonderful weekend.